Picture this, you're a warrior. You're a gladiator in the arena of life, and you need the fuel to dominate every battlefield. That is where Jocko Fuel steps in. First up, Jocko Go, designed to unlock endless energy and focus, keeping you at peak performance. Then, Jocko Bulk Protein. Build muscle like a champion. It is packed with top-grade protein. Next, Jocko Greens, nature's weapon for vitality and peak performance. And of course, Jocko Hydrate. Hydration done right with electrolytes for the fight. Don't forget, Jocko Joint Warfare. Say goodbye to stiffness and discomfort. And here's the kicker. All products are Jocko tested, scientifically formulated and clean. No banned substances, just pure power. So warriors, level up with Jocko Fuel and unleash the beast within. It is more than just supplements. It's a way of life. Dana White made a very interesting comment. He was doing an interview and he said, hey, I'm starting to work on the next BMF fight. And was it the post-fight presser, guys? It might have been. That would line up time. I read about it later. So I can't cite who asked him or even when this happened, but it just happened. It happened somewhere within the media of Islam versus Dustin. I think it was post. But the point is this. Because what do we like, guys? We like speculation, right? I could call Dana right now and get the answer. I don't want the answer. I want us to come over here and guess. I want to speculate. I want to go back and forth. I want Brendan to jump on this. I want Rogan to weigh in. I want to hear what Jesse has to say. Like, it's one of these things, but we have to look at what clues we've been given. So this is a very interesting statement. I'm starting to work on the next BMF fight. I'm starting to work on the next BMF fight. I had a awards banquet for my wrestling team. And every award was voted on. Every award they gave out was voted on. And I remember Coach got up there and he was giving out the award and he said, "Oh, this was an awful tough one. A lot of thought went into this." And then he gave the award out. And I thought, okay, he's either nervous in the moment. He's nervous in the moment. He wasn't a big speaker. Or it's a scam. Like, there would be nothing hard about it. There's 31 guys on the team, and we voted. What was the hard part? Tallying 1 to 31? Like, what part was troubling and took time, right? And I remember that moment. It's like, no, he didn't misspeak. He didn't misspeak at all. They didn't vote on it. We did the song and dance, and the coaches went up there and wrote the names down and took it to the award show. And I only tell you that because I look at these things a little bit more skeptical than some. And like the statement of, I'm going to work on, I am working on the next BMF. In what regard? Now, when you say I'm working on, you mean I'm getting an opponent for Max. That's what you mean, right? But no, I don't think that is what he meant. And again, it's much like my coach, right? Misspoke in the moment. How much do you want to really hold to a guy? Post-fight press conferences, a million different things. Got to go to Ireland. It's 3 a.m. Where Dana was like, I mean, how much are we going to hold him to this sentence? But for right now, I'm going to hold him to the sentence because it's all I got. He said, I'm working on it or I'm getting ready to work on it. Well, if that doesn't mean I'm looking on the next opponent for Max, if it doesn't mean that, then that means that belt isn't going to have a lineage and it's going somewhere else. And that belt doesn't have to have a lineage, by the way. Justin Gaethje was the first to ever get to defend it. Now, that's largely because George Masvidal didn't understand contractually why he wasn't ever allowed to defend it. But Max doesn't know anything more about his contract than Masvidal. Max will do the same thing as Masvidal. Trust me when I tell you that. So there doesn't have to be a lineage with it. And the guy isn't going to speak up. So, is that what that means? Was that a one-night trophy? And that went to Max. I'm great with that. And you know what, guys? I might even like it more. If that means we get more BMF title fights, then I will like it more. There was something they used to do called the super fight. First off, physically and visually, it is the coolest belt that's ever been made in mixed martial arts history. It is the absolute coolest actual belt, but it was a trophy for the night. Like if you won the super fight, They call you super fight champion, but they just bring 2 new guys in to fight, and then whoever won that, they would win the super fight. It was very clearly a trophy for the night. And if that was you again, if you're still the super one, you're going to take on somebody else, the verbiage might make it sound as though you're defending that belt, but it was actually a trophy for that night. There's nothing that says the BMF can't be that. Nothing whatsoever. So, is that what's happening? Or, I'm looking for the next BMF fight. Is that simply mean I'm trying to find out who the next opponent for Max is? Because if that's what it means, what about Topuria? Whatever do you mean you're looking for an opponent for Max? You don't have an opponent for Max? Is it Topuria? It isn't Topuria and the Sphere on Mexican Independence Day? It certainly doesn't have to be, but is it not? Something's got to go on there because you got Shevchenko and Grasso on the card. Like something has to happen to, right? They're not closing the night out. But you're thinking that perhaps it won't be Topuria versus Max. So, is it then possible not only that Max fights, but the BMF isn't up, that somebody else fights for it? Oh, by the way, is it then possible that Topuria is going to fight Max, and Topuria is not going to have an opportunity to win the belt that Max has, which is the BMF? How are you working on it? What do you mean I'm working on it? What do you mean I'm working on it? I'm working on it means I'm trying to find out who's next for Max. Yes? I thought it was Topuria. Is it Topuria next for Max? No. Something's going on. Something's going on. Max is about to not be the BMF champion. That's what's going on. This happened once before, by the way. Colby Covington was the interim champion, never got hurt, never got sick, never pulled out, never did it. Woke up one day and was no longer the interim champion. Like, that's not a riddle. That happened. Colby Covington beat the BMF champion. Didn't become the BMF champion. Colby Covington was the #1 contender. He could not get a title fight. I mean, there's just some things that sometimes happen in the sport. You gotta know a little bit more and be able to look, well, that actually made perfect sense, and here's the reasons why. But, no, there wasn't misspeaking. And the BMF belt was singled out. The tone and the context for what that question was answered and the influx within the words made it very clear that that belt was going to be different. Now, if you wanted to take Max with it, you could. But it was also, it was made very clear that it is going to be different. The reason I'm telling you that, it's not different if it's opposite Topuria. It's not different then. So either Max is not fighting Topuria, either that is not done, or the lineage of the BMF belt is not going to take place, of which I'm fine with as long as we do it consistent. I love the super fight. I wish they'd bring the super fight back. I think there's massive opportunity here. So I'm not hating on it either way, but I do find it kind of amazing that my fellow people in MMA heard these words, they heard them all, and didn't know what they meant. I mean, there is no better place to hide than in plain sight. And if we are in fact working on and trying to figure out the next BMF title fight, at a minimum, we can derive Max and Topuria isn't happening. And you know what? I'm very light on that idea. I do not think that that's the accurate one. I think it's option B, which is the belt isn't going to have a lineage.